What if I told you the single most important factor that made early humans smarter wasn't a bigger brain, but something you use every single day? It's not what you think. Forget the image of a caveman just grunting and pointing. The story of our intelligence is far more complex and fascinating. It's a story of shared knowledge, a kind of ancient internet made of stories and skills. Imagine this. One person discovers that a specific type of rock, when struck just right, creates an incredibly sharp edge. This isn't just a discovery. It's a revolution, but it's useless if it dies with them. So what happens next? They show someone else. They teach them. This simple act of sharing is the spark that ignites human intelligence. This is where things get really interesting, that knowledge doesn't just get passed on. It gets upgraded. The next person might figure out a better way to hold the rock, a more efficient angle to strike it. Now the tool is even better. This is called cumulative culture, and it's our species' superpower. It's like a software update for humanity, passed down through generations. Think about the first person to control fire. It wasn't just about warmth, it was a complete game changer. Suddenly they could cook food, which unlocked more nutrients, fueling brain growth. Fire also extended the day, creating more time for something crucial, storytelling. Around the flickering flames, our ancestors didn't just eat. They talked, they shared the day's events, warned about predators, and planned for the hunt. These weren't just simple chats. They were a transfer of vital survival data. Where is the best place to find water? Which berries are safe to eat? This knowledge was the difference between life and death, and this created a powerful feedback loop. The more they communicated, the more complex their language became, and the more complex their language, the more detailed and nuanced the information they could share. They could talk about the past, plan for the future, and even discuss abstract ideas. This ability to mentally time travel is a uniquely human trait. But how did they remember all this without writing? Through stories, songs, and rituals. These weren't just for entertainment. They were memory palaces, encoding vast amounts of information about the environment, social rules, and history into easily recallable formats. An epic story about a hero's journey might actually be a detailed map of the landscape. This brings us to a critical point: individual intelligence versus collective intelligence. A single early human raised in isolation might not seem much smarter than other primates, but a group of early humans. They were a superorganism, a network of minds sharing and building upon a massive, ever-growing database of knowledge. Consider the mammoth hunt. This wasn't a chaotic brute force attack. It required incredible coordination, strategy, and shared understanding. They needed to know the mammoth's behavior, the terrain, and each hunter's role. This was a complex project managed entirely through shared knowledge and communication, a feat of intelligence on a massive scale. This social learning also drove innovation. When one group met another, they didn't just see strangers. They saw a new library of information. They could trade tools, techniques, and stories. This exchange of ideas was like connecting two networks, exponentially increasing the knowledge available to everyone. It was the ancient world's version of globalization. So the brain size was important, yes, it provided the hardware. But the software, the culture, the language, the shared knowledge is what truly ran the program of human intelligence. Every new skill learned, from making a spear to weaving a basket, was another app added to our collective operating system. This process wasn't always smooth. Sometimes knowledge was lost. A small group could be wiped out, taking their unique skills and stories with them. But the overall trend was one of accumulation. Knowledge is resilient. As long as people talked and taught, the human mind continued to expand. This shift in thinking is profound. Our intelligence isn't just something inside our skulls. It's in our relationships, in our stories, in our culture. It's a distributed network. Each person who learned to nap a flintstone or identify a medicinal plant was a node in this incredible network of minds. So when you see those museum dioramas of early humans, don't just see primitive figures, see pioneers of information. See the first teachers, the first storytellers, the first engineers. They weren't just surviving. They were learning, sharing, and building the foundation of the very mind you are using to understand these words right now. Think about the complexity of tracking an animal. It's not just following footprints, it's reading a story in the landscape. A bent twig, a disturbed patch of leaves, the direction of the wind, all are data points. Our ancestors became master detectives of the natural world, a skill built entirely on accumulated and shared observation. This ability to read the world and share the findings is what allowed us to spread across the entire planet. As humans moved into new environments, from frozen tundras to dense jungles, they didn't just adapt biologically, they adapted culturally. They developed new tools, new strategies, and new knowledge bases specific to each ecosystem. This cultural adaptation is much faster than genetic evolution. It allowed us to conquer environments that would have otherwise been impossible. We didn't need to evolve fur to survive the cold. We learned to make clothes and build shelters. We didn't evolve venom to hunt large prey. We learned to make spears and coordinate our attacks. The development of art, like cave paintings, is another piece of this puzzle. These weren't just pretty pictures. Many researchers believe they were a form of information storage and transmission. They could have been hunting manuals, star charts, or records of important events, a visual language to reinforce the oral stories. So the next time you learn a new skill, whether it's coding, cooking, or playing an instrument, remember you are participating in the most ancient and powerful human tradition of all. You are taking a piece of shared knowledge, making it your own, and perhaps one day you'll add your own little improvement before passing it on. Our journey from simple hominids to the dominant species on Earth wasn't just a march of bigger brains. It was a symphony of shared minds. It was the quiet revolution of one person turning to another and saying, "Here, let me show you." That simple act is what made us who we are. It's the secret to our intelligence, hiding in plain sight. The story of human intelligence is not a story of lone geniuses. It's the story of us. It's a testament to the power of community, communication, and the incredible compounding interest of shared knowledge. We are the inheritors of millions of years of this shared effort. And that's a legacy far more impressive than the size of any one person's brain. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey into our past, don't forget to like and subscribe for more.